something that happened to me as a child. I used to go to the ocean and speak to the genie of the sea.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were going to go poop in it.
No, I didn't do that, but I did pee in the sea.
No, all right. At least that rhymes.
But I had other issues that I wanted to comment and question
yes.
on the comments. One thing is I come from a scientific background. I work in science and engineering.
Yes.
And
Well, so do I, you know.
of course, that's why I'm asking you, why I will ask you these questions,
Yes.
if it's all right.
Of course it is.
So,
Is it all right that I may not answer all of them?
well, I might be uncomfortable about that, but
Why
can't
would you
help
be
it,
uncomfortable about that?
because I want to know everything.
You can't know everything. You can only know what's relevant for you to know at any given moment.
Thank you. At any rate, I wanted to say something about that I had listened to and very thoroughly tried to understand your discussion of location parameters
Yes.
and use of a copper sphere
Yes.
to detect that. And in that endeavor, I actually went through a whole lot of things to actually design an apparatus to do something like
right.
that.
How exciting.
Yes, it is. It continues to be exciting because it's not done yet. It
Yes.
may take a while to
That's all right.
accomplish even the first step of
At
that.
least you are actually doing it.
Yes, I got a quotation from the foremost maker of spheres, metal spheres in the world, called U.S. Ball.
Yes.
At least that's what they say they are.
Yes.
And they told me that to make such a sphere, say 100 to 150 centimeters in diameter and 1 or 2 millimeters thick,
Yes.
and hollow, completely copper, with no blemishes and perfect sphere, and all that would cost 30 to 50 or even $100,000. And I said, ooh, that's
It
beyond
doesn't
my
have
budget.
to be that perfect for the first stages of the experiment.
Well, I wanted to propose another way of doing it rather than trying to make it from either machining or possibly 3D printing, and or to instead take a sphere of FR4, which is what PC boards are made of, plate it with copper, which would only be about 1/10 millimeter thick, or about 5/1000 of an inch thick, if people like inches rather than meters. But so that sufficient? It would still have the dielectric inside. It wouldn't be completely hollow with air, which has a dielectric constant of 4 point something.
That's going to change the vibrational frequency quite a bit.
Right.
Now, is there some way that you can create a sphere and plate it in a way where the material that you initially created the sphere with can be melted out of it?
That's what I'm thinking, but it would require putting a hole in it.
That's all right. As long as it's a very small hole, you can patch it up, and it actually will have far less impact than the idea of leaving the material in.
Right. Then I can stick a hole in one of the poles, say the south pole of the sphere.
Yes.
And inject a solvent that then will wash out the material on which the sphere was plated.
Correct.
Okay.
That will be much closer to the way you need the sphere to be.
Yeah, and then it has the dielectric constant of air, which is 1,
Yes.
as opposed to 4 or 5, which is FR4.
Yes.
So yes, that can be done with. It would be a different plastic because FR4 is not soluble. But yes,
That's fine. You can 3D print the sphere with something that's meltable.
right, exactly. Or machine it very,
If you wish.
very precise, more precisely than
All
3D
right,
printing.
up to you.
3D printing is not quite there yet. It will be soon, though.
We understand.
So then you also discuss then beaming. There are 3 parts to this. There's the beaming of either an EM pulse or a sonic pulse
Yes.
at that sphere, and then listening to it, the reflection, and hearing the location parameter, say on one end of a 3-meter table.
Yes, or at least
Another.
you can actually even sometimes just strike the sphere like a bell and pick up the resonance.
Well, if that's copper, that would damage it. 'Cause copper
Well,
is so
I'm not saying smash it with a sledgehammer. Just very gently. You don't have to do it that way. I'm just saying it can be done that way too.
Well, an ultrasonic pulse would do that.
All right. Your choice.
And I know how to do that. I've done lots of ultrasonic.
All right.
So, but then I don't know what I'm actually listening for.
Exactly.
And can you elaborate on what I'm listening for at all?
Well, if you do take the reading in the different locations, you'll be able to suss out what the difference is and eliminate the ultrasonic pulse.
How so?
Well, in other words, if you hit something with an ultrasonic pulse, it's going to give off a certain frequency that you're going to record, yes?
Yes.
And then you move it to another location and hit it with the same kind of pulse
Right.
at exactly the same frequency.
Right.
Well, you're going to be able, if your equipment is sensitive enough, to tell the difference between the two, yes?
Right.
But then you can simply subtract the vibration of the ultrasonic pulse, and what you're left with is the actual frequency of the location.
Understood.
All right.
Yeah, I already got that part.
Oh, all right.
I just don't know what it's going to look like.
Well, that's all right. You will.
Okay. And so, or you can do it with RF.
Yes.
Okay. I'll try both.
It's up to you.
But then then the final thing
Yes.
is that with your craft, you shield it from the current location,
Yes.
and then you induce a vibration of the location to which you want to go.
Yes.
And bingo, when you remove that shield, so the question is, what's the nature of that shield?
You're not going to create that yet.
Okay.
That's way down the line.
That's what I thought.
But right now, you can begin to explore the basic principles with the experiment that we have suggested.
Well, I assume that based on what you said, that if you overwhelm the object with the new location,
Yes.
it doesn't even need to be shielded.
In terms of the experiment that we are suggesting, it doesn't need to be shielded for that, because what you will most likely see is the object will simply roll to the new position.
Right. That's why a sphere.
Yes.
So
So that you are removing as much friction as possible.
So it doesn't have to be a super perfect sphere.
No, not really.
Okay.
That's why I said you can get away with something that's not that expensive.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, using the plating on plastic method would be hundreds of dollars instead of thousands and thousands of dollars.
Again, begin the experiment however you can. Take whatever readings your equipment will allow you to take, and just start there. It's the beginning, the very early steps of this idea.
Okay, thank you. I
what
would
you
like
get.
one other question
Yes.
about Arcturians, because I felt a strong connection
Yes.
in several sessions that I've had
Yes.
where I felt that I was downloading information from the Arcturians.
Well, the Arcturus gate is that which allows you a vibration that helps you remember more and not forget as much of who you are, which gives you an opportunity to tap into information you need in a clearer way. The Arcturians are not physical as you understand
Right.
it, though they can present themselves that way. But nevertheless, they present a vibration that allows for clarity of accessing information that may be relevant to what it is you are passionate about.
Okay. Do you see anything specific about my relationship to the Arcturians?
Well, only in that you're making a connection to that vibration, because it allows you a clearer access to the information you require.
Okay.
In other words, you recognize that that vibration exists, and therefore you made a connection to it because you could use it to your advantage, which they're happy to provide.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
It's so wonderful to see you, and my unconditional love to you.
Aveo.